Hi guys, I hope you're doing really, really well and practicing great self-care. I hope you're taking care of yourself, getting exercise, eating healthy, surrounding yourself with good, kind, healthy friends, and reading good books to help you heal. I hope you're also getting some help with trauma. So I'm going to recommend, and I've recommended this book before, but if you're trying to figure out if you were with a covert narcissist, check out Debbie Mirza's book. I think it's Mirza, and it's called The Covert Passive Aggressive Narcissist. That's the recommendation for today. So in this video, what I'm going to talk about is narcissistic men and their mothers. It's going to be more of an emphasis on covert narcissists, but I'm going to kind of, this is pretty applicable to both. And this is not always the way it is, but these might be some things that you're going to see in that relationship between a narcissistic man and his mother. So one, the mother can often be very jealous of his friends, his spouse, his girlfriend, and sometimes she's even going to compete with those people. So she might be in competition with the daughter-in-law or with the friend that's a girl or with the girlfriend. You're going to see often emotional neglect. There's a lack of warmth in this relationship. There's a lack of healthy closeness. There's a lack of emotional availability by the mother. She's emotionally unavailable, typically can be pretty cold, pretty perfectionistic, and everything is self-referential. How does this relationship make her look? So the mother will act like she has her son's back, but she only does that if it's good for her, typically. It's very self-interested. The narcissistic son, or the son in this relationship, often learns, he doesn't learn how to stand up for his partner or to have somebody's back because he has a very distorted view of what that looks like. So he typically and almost always is going to choose the side of the mother one way or the other. And can be a lot of triangulation in these relationships. And sometimes with the coverts is very hidden triangulation. You might be in this relationship and not even really know that you're actually being triangulated. The mothers often in these cases might actually have a very poor relationship with their mother. They may have been sort of attention starved. It might have been cold, emotionally unavailable. They may have faced a lot of rejection and perhaps some criticism. And so, a narcissistic defense is often what develops sort of to protect herself from that rejection. She typically might have a strained relationship with her mother. And the thing is, the son learns in this relationship never to show emotion because it's not safe. He has no freedom of emotional expression, especially negative emotions. He is taught that he cannot express negative emotions. And so he carries that into the relationship with his partner. He can't express the truth. He can't express negative emotions or even talk about his emotions. In these relationships, typically, nothing this son ever did was good enough. The mother was very perfectionistic. The son learned that he felt that he had to be perfect in order to get validation, and especially any mistake that he might make that would poorly reflect on her. She's less concerned about mistakes that he might make that don't reflect poorly on her, but if it's going to make her look bad, then that's a real issue. So the son learns how to be perfect or how to perform perfection. Now remember, it's all about how it looks on the outside. So the son's success in these relationships proves the mother's worth. Right? Because others can see that he's successful and it reflects positively on her. Then everything's great because she wants to look good. So her main concern about her son's success is performance. Does it make her look good? Not is he internally successful? Is he really happy? Is he emotionally well? Is he going to therapy and getting help he needs and all of that? It's more like, how does it make her look? So often in these relationships, the mother acts like everything she ever did in her life was for her son. She's such a martyr. Everything she did was for her kids. And then this is very important and very common in these relationships. The son will never reveal any flaws he has to his mother. He's terrified of criticism, of admitting any faults. He cannot appear vulnerable to his mother. And so he goes ahead and mimics that relationship with his spouse or his partner. He does this. This is his relational style. So he can show no vulnerability. He can't be honest about his feelings. He can't express any negative emotions, right? And obviously, if you can't express negative emotions in a relationship, it's doomed, because you can't tell the truth. You have to be able to tell the truth in relationships. I mean, shoot, you can do it with a therapist or you can do it in writing, but you've got to be able to tell the truth when something is bothering you. And often, especially with covert narcissistic males, they may never express, the negative emotions or feelings they have, and they bottle those up and they have hatred and resentment. That was the case in my case. He never ever expressed negative emotions at all until the discard. Well, he was already having an affair with another person. I had no idea. I would say, hey, if there's something wrong, can you tell me what the problem is so I can correct it? I'm like, I had no chance. There was no chance to correct anything, because there was nothing that was ever brought to my attention that was an issue. Actually, when I said that, I was like, can you tell me? Because if you don't tell me, how can I change something? And so he said, I don't like it when you put the dishes on the left-hand side of the sink. In the left-hand side of the sink. That's what he said. And so I stopped doing that. So weird. What you're going to see is this mother will often set up situations where there is triangulation and where that son needs to choose her over the spouse or the partner. This may be very subtle. You might not even know this is going on. This is all about their dynamic. And, the son he has to choose his mother, and he's going to choose his mother every time if he has this dysfunctional relationship. And then the son might try to groom his spouse to be more acceptable to his mother, right? Which is super weird, because the mother has been setting this up well before the spouse or partner ever came into the picture, because the mother has this weird competition, right? And for her son's affection. Basically, if you're in this relationship, you're never good enough. If you're the spouse or you're the partner, of this man who's a narcissistic mother, you're never going to be good enough for her precious baby boy. And if anything goes wrong, if the son is abusive in any way, verbally, emotionally, physically, psychologically, the mother will absolutely not accept that, even if there's absolute evidence of it. And if there isn't absolute evidence, but the daughter-in-law or the girlfriend of that narcissistic son is trying to explain to the mother-in-law what's going on, the mother-in-law will absolutely refuse to look at the truth, right? And often there's a lot of smear campaign going on behind the scenes here. The son might be smearing his own wife or girlfriend to the mother. So there's a setup, right? And then you're going to see often in these relationships that they can be very enmeshed, but it's like a resentful enmeshment, right? And so the son, if he grows up to be sort of the covert narcissist, he has all of this repressed resentment and even hatred towards his mother, but he acts really nice to her, but all of this gets misplaced onto the spouse, right? So it's like poison. And so all of this, these negative emotions that he has towards his mother that he can't honestly express to her get put on to the spouse. So essentially, he makes the spouse his mother. It's like the surrogate mother, and he projects all of his garbage onto that spouse or partner. So, man, it is a tough relationship. If you're in a relationship with a covert narcissistic male and he has a narcissistic mother, good luck, because you are in trouble. You can't win. There's nothing you can do to win. And, this is a relationship that there's no honesty. So the covert narcissistic male will never tell you, hey, here's the problems. This is the issues I have. these are my needs. Can we fix these? Can we resolve this? Let's go to therapy. Let's get this, let's get some help here. Let's read some books. Or, he's never going to tell you the truth of what he needs or what he's irritated about or what needs to change in the relationship. So you are flying blind. You cannot win. And also, a lot of times in these situations, these families that have narcissistic structures, like a lot of times the daughter-in-law or the girlfriend is like the next fodder. She becomes the scapegoat, or he. It could be, please believe that this can be totally reversed with the genders, right? But a lot of times there's like this thing where that new person in the family is, all the family is actually talking crap about that person behind their back with the smear campaign. That person might not even know that's happening, right? But it's a setup. So, every time that these narcissistic sons, they're trying to, show their mother, they're trying to prove to their mother their worth. They're always trying to prove to the mother that they're good enough, that they're worthy. But they also have this weird resentment, this hatred towards their mothers. But it can be very repressed, especially with the covert narcissist. Watch the old movie Psycho. It kind of shows it all. I mean, it's creepy, really creepy, but it definitely shows that dynamic where it's like the mother's belittling the son. He has this secret repressed hatred towards her, yet he has this enmeshed, enabling, weird relationship with her, and he ends up killing her. And then I think he like mummifies her and keeps her in the house. It's a very creepy movie, but it's like a lot of that dynamic is going on here, and you might not even know this is happening. A lot of times in these relationships, when the son grows up, it can go either way. It can either be he's totally doesn't want to spend time with his mother, or he has this really creepy enmeshed relationship with her where he can only make decisions if he gets his mother's approval. So I hope this was helpful for you. It's a lot of content in 12 minutes, but hope you enjoy it and get something out of it. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.